Hey, what's going on? Episode 42. It's coming right up. In less than a minute, we're going to start the live production of Client by Client and get this show on the road. You may have noticed I'm coming to you a little later in the day over the last week or two. I do this intentionally whenever I add new habits into my life is to get it done and install it. I do it first thing in the day. So you notice I was doing this super early. And then once I get this out of the way, anxiety gone, good to go, move forward. Now, what I do is I take something else that is important, maybe more important, and I do it beforehand. And so I've edited 2 episodes today, got my workout done, emails before, client call before. I'm able to do these things before I get to here, and I have to do those things in order to get to this point. So a small tip for you for tuning in early is sometimes you got to install the new habit, eat the big frog first, and then you stack the other habits and priorities on top of it before it, so that you have to get those things done in order to move on. What I find is that by noon, by 1:30, all of the important stuff is done, and now I can focus on money later, long-term tasks. So so there's some behind the scenes. That said, let's hop in and let's do this thing. Hey, what's up? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm recording this right now on the last day of May. We're going into June. I know I think we're a week and a half into June already, maybe 2 weeks right now. But I hope that May was fruitful, hope that it was prosperous, and hope that you accomplished everything that you're wanting. And if not, it's a fresh start. So this is more for my live recording folks here. It's the end of May, but it's a fresh start for you. So welcome back and welcome to today's episode. In the last episode of Client by Client, yesterday, we talked about how to make the coaching program your clients never want to leave. And what was very interesting about that episode is that today, at the time of this recording, it's Wednesday, and it's our student call day, right? So on Wednesdays, we do our group call for the Get Clients program. And one of the questions that was posed before we did the call, and then what we focus on the call, was about client retention. We had a student who had a situation where someone is thinking about quitting or considering quitting. They've sent an email, and so we went through exactly what to do to make this happen. And what was really cool is that one of my students was able to listen to yesterday's episode and implement it, because we do these live a couple days ahead, to implement it and come with a bunch of ideas for already how we were going to fix this and how we're going to handle and navigate the situation. So if you have clients right now, or if you don't have many clients right now, and you want to build the kind of coaching program where, number one, it continues to grow, it gets better with every new member, and you want clients to stay with you for life and build that lifetime value, make it easier for you to grow your program and run your business more predictably, I highly recommend you backtrack one episode. It's already proven useful for my paying students, for my Get Client students, and I think it could be useful for you too. So be sure to backtrack one episode and be sure to understand how exactly it works and how to create the kind of coaching program that people want to stay in, continue investing in, and be a paying member of. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the lack of focus. And what I want to do for you is share that, number one, I'm human and that I lack focus all the time. But what I also want to do on top of that is share what works for me for getting out of that, getting back into the routine, back into flow, and back into a state of productivity. Before I share with you my 3 tips for what I do to get focused, I think it's important to understand what happens if you don't get today's episode right. And I don't want you to take this lightly. The first thing that happens is that you start to fall victim to distractions, and the distractions start to run your life. They start to run your business. And this is when I think the devil has his filthy little hands wrapped upon you and is in full control of you guys, to put it very darkly. And so what ends up happening is that everything that happens in front of you, the TV, people walking in, people walking out, a sound, all these things start to happen, and you're not able to focus on what it is that you want. And that right there is an extremely frustrating thing to happen, because then you're not conquering your goals. You're not paying attention to your vision for the future, right? You're not living in that future version of yourself. And in today's day and age, in 2023, there have never been more distractions, okay? Think about how far we've come from, let's say, Instagram in 2012 and that content in comparison to what TikTok now is in 2023. We went from static images and graphic memes and photos to very visually, mentally stimulating content that is designed and more designed and created to capture your attention, to captivate it, to keep it, and to keep you scrolling. That's a very far place that we've come in less than 12 years. Crazy to think that was 12 years ago, right? So if I have that date correct. But Instagram started as like static images and just for photos, and now it's basically TikTok, and it's like 4 or 5 other platforms inside of it. And this is the case all across the board, guys. And so there's never been more things fighting for your attention. And if you allow for these distractions to get your attention and to keep your attention, then you fall victim to these distractions, and these distractions start to run and lead your life. That's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is that you start to think it's normal to be distracted. And when that happens, you never strive nor get to reach the most optimal, highest, and best version of yourself. And I think that when that happens, the world is a far worse off place. That you, your family, and everyone that comes across you is far worse off versus them being able to, and the world having the highest and best version of yourself. So basically, distractions start to eat into every area of your life. They become the norm. You fall victim to them. You never get to realize your goals. You never get to realize the highest and best version of yourself. So that being said, I thought that I would share what happens when the focus starts to leave me and when I start to get distracted, and what I do to start getting more productive. The first thing I do when I start to get distracted is I start to eliminate. This can be on a micro level, and this can also be on a macro level. All right. There's kind of 2 tips inside of this first one. And the first part that I want for you to take in and internalize is to eliminate. So I have a small kitchen table that I work on. And one of the first things I do when I do sit down to work there is I clear everything off. I want a clean environment. Okay. And I start to eliminate the things from my environment. And anything in my view that is distracting or eliminatable, I try to get it out of my view. And so I will take anything that's distracting and I just try to move it. I try to clear the space. I don't want clutter around me, and I want for it to be clear. But that's not always the space that I'm in. Sometimes I go to the coffee shop 1 to 3 times a week, and there are many distractions in my visual cue. And so when I do that, I'm going to share that in tip number 2, so I won't get into that one just yet. First thing I want for you to do is to eliminate. If the TV is on and you're the only one in the room and it's distracting you, go turn that TV off. One of the best things that you can eliminate from your field of view and from your workspace, let's say you're working on a computer, is to eliminate your phone. A couple ways that you can do this. You could put it on airplane mode. You could just put it in your backpack if you're at the coffee shop, or take it and like put it in a drawer, put it in your room to charge, in the bathroom to charge, and shut the door. So eliminate the things that distract you. Eliminate the things that you know are going to capture your attention, and don't allow for them to be there and to get you off track. This is really about your environment. And your environment is one of the things that you can build to protect you, or this is one of the things that will hinder your ability to focus. So your environment, you listening to this right now, it's going to be different for every person. There might be people in your environment that are a distraction. Get out of that environment. Better to not have as distracting people, but sometimes you can help it. They might be your kids. They might be your parents. So be respectful. If the TV's on and other people are watching it in your environment, maybe you just don't go and turn it off, like I have the ability to do for the most part. Maybe you have a conversation, or you eliminate yourself from the room and go somewhere else to work in a different, better environment. So I want for you to be thinking about, 1, what can you eliminate from your environment? And then also, what in your environment is the most distracting or the most helpful? You need to understand that and surround yourself with more of it. Sometimes I have to create a vibe to get productive. So I'll put on a YouTube channel that has like lo-fi music or some focus music. I'll get everything off of my desk, like the desk that I'm looking at in front of me right now. And sometimes I have to completely clear my desk to like feel better. It's like it's just energetically clogged. And so I'll have to clean it, clear it, wipe it, dust it, disassemble it, re-put it together sometimes. Every now and again, about every 60 days, I'll disassemble, rewire, redo things, kind of set it up. But in between there, every 2-3 weeks, I want to dust it. Arizona, it's a dusty place. So I want to dust it, clean it off. There's a lot of expensive things on my desk as a part of my setup, as a part of my kit. So I try to, as much as possible, take care of it and not always be disassembling it, but take care of it, clean it, and make sure that it's in good working condition. So first thing I want for you to do is to look at your environment and eliminate anything that's going to be a distraction in and of itself. And if you are super distracted at home, then it sounds like you need to build your ability to focus in a different environment, or you have to start to build that muscle that can put up with the distractions and keep on working. This is one of the maybe side benefits you get from working at a coffee shop and being forced to for a certain amount of time. That was my first 3 to 5 years of business for the most part. And so now, sometimes in a quiet environment, it can be a little hard. You need to have some self-awareness here and understand and know yourself. And so what that means is eliminating anything that's distracting you and just curating your environment and making the kind of environment that allows for you to focus. Maybe it is lighting a candle, putting on the diffuser, putting on the music, shutting the blinds, whatever it might be. Find the things that you need to do and test the things you need to do and make the environment better. And if you need a start by eliminating. That's the first tip here. Second, and a little bit of building off of that, because it's really hard to get focused without the clarity necessary for what you want to get done in that time frame. So, for instance, right before this, I had 2 things that I needed to get done. One was my group call for the Get Clients program. That's an hour. And then afterwards, I wanted to button up episode 38 and get it scheduled for the 12th of June to get going and be scheduled. So what I did is I started editing it in the couple minutes I had before the call. I did the call, and then I took my computer and my happy ass sat back at the kitchen table and sat down, finished out everything that needed to be done with that episode, and then I came over here to do this live stream. So what I did is I had the clarity of what needed to get done, and I focused on that singular task until it was done. It's really hard to get focused if you're lost, if you're unclear, and you don't know what to do. This is why I'm such an advocate of whether it's me or another business coach, another mentor, is finding someone that has the pathway, that's been there, that has done that. That way, all of these environmental and kind of smaller level distractions and things can be the hindrance versus your lack of clarity. When you're clear on what to do, sometimes the environment doesn't matter and who's around you and the distractions doesn't matter because you have clarity on the thing that you need to get done and the most important thing to do. So you also need some clarity. Now, when you pair up clarity with a time constraint, now you have the recipe for getting things done and maybe even getting them done faster, allowing for you to move on to the next thing and then to get more done. So every now and again, a task feels so big that I don't even want to get started. Anybody else feel like that ever? Like it's just kind of daunting. And then you go and do the task and it ain't all that bad. So I've learned that a lot of these things that are daunting is just because I haven't thought it through. I haven't visualized success. I haven't visualized myself actually navigating it and having fun with it. And what will help me to get started and on the road to actually tackling it is setting a timer. What I'll tell myself is 25 minutes, that's it. Right in front of me, I'm holding it up into the camera, but I have a battery timer. And so what I can do is I can go to it and I can put on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. And then now it's counting down in front of me. And now I can see it. And 25 minutes is not all that long. That's less than a TV episode, right? Sorry, that was the timer that just went off, woke my dogs up. So that's less than a TV episode, right? About 22 minutes. And if you can sit down and watch and endure a TV episode, then like you should be able to focus on something that's super important, that means a lot to you and is a part of your goals and your vision for the future. That's my thinking. 25 minutes sounds manageable, sounds doable, and I give myself permission to not continue beyond that 25 minutes. So you can use this at a coffee shop with the timer on your phone, at home, anywhere you need to get something done. And what this will end up doing is it causes for you to start focusing on the task because you can see the end. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you will feel better about the thing. When the timer goes off, you have the ability to close the computer down, to move on, note where you're at so you can pick it back up. But chances are, if you're anything like me, you're so far in and jamming and having fun with it now, you've either already turned the timer off or you're going to continue working on the thing and disregard the timer and just stop it and then keep on going. Or you're going to hit snooze once, allow you to give yourself a couple more minutes. That timer goes off, you can reanalyze and see if you're at where you want to be or if you have some more time. Make things so bite-sized that you're never hesitant at getting it started is my thought process that I want to share with you here. And when you're clear on the one task you need to do, when your cheeks hit the seat and that laptop opens up, you turn on your computer or you're sitting down on your phone to do whatever it is you need to do, and you put a timer there, everything just becomes more manageable. It becomes more bite-sized. It becomes more real. And now you have the ability to focus, to drill down, and to get it done. Get clear on what's going to actually, like, I could give you guys all of these tips. Side note, I could give you guys all of these tips and you get a bunch of stuff done, but it also doesn't move the needle in your business or in your life. That's why I want to revisit the importance of having a mentor, having a proven plan and support around you. One of the questions that I like using to keep myself focused on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, lifetime basis is pulled from Gary Keller's The One Thing. What one thing can I do right now that by doing makes everything else easier or unnecessary? When you can start to think like that, like the first time you think that, and the 10th time you're not gonna manifest the thing that needs to be done that moves everything forward. But you ask yourself that for a solid year, and it starts to become clear what matters and what doesn't. And you start to build this muscle up with, like, if I'm gonna do something, it better be that most important thing. And you stop wasting times on the trivial. And when anything pops up and you ask yourself, will this one thing move the needle forward more than anything else that I could do right now? The answer is usually no, or you have to get it done because you're committed to it. This makes it so much more important that you're wise in the commitments that you make to yourself and to your business and to others, so that you can have the ability to maintain the business and to also be running the projects and installing new things in a given amount of window, so that things actually get done and they move the needle forward. You're able to get on to the next thing. This is a moving game, and it's almost like creating railroad tracks as you go. So you're standing in a spot and you put a wooden plank in front of you. You step on the wooden plank, you grab the wooden plank from behind you, you put that one in front of you. It's a little bit of kind of like what focus is like. It's a lot of chaining your focus and chaining your clarity. But if you are not clear on what singular thing to do in your business that's going to allow for you to get clients now, to get clients later, and to get clients easier, then it's absolutely mission critical that you find that coach, you find that mentor, that support that allows for you to get that clarity. It is really easy for 1, 2, 3 years to go and you're doing stuff every single day and going to the coffee shop and getting to the office and doing the things and opening the laptop and creating content, but your bank account hasn't changed. You don't have any more success stories and your business is not any further along. You got stuff done, but did it move the needle? And if you're listening to this, part of my mission with this specific episode is to get you focusing on the things that will move the needle. It's one thing to be focused. It's a whole nother thing to be focused on the critical few things that are important and that move the needle and that are going to get you lasting results. End of that side note. Find the right help that's going to help you get to where you want to be. That way, when you sit down to get clear and you are focused, you're focused on things that are meaningful, that are impactful, and that get you closer to where you want to be. That's the second tip. Third, this is going to, when you set your timer and you get clear on the one thing to do, this is the next layer of it. Because, guys, I lack focus a lot, and I use what I'm telling you guys, these tips, I use these every single day. This one's all about reward and about pain, this tip. When I go to the coffee shop, if there's maybe one thing I love more than some Starbucks cold fruit, if there's one thing I love more than some Starbucks cold brew, it's a marshmallow dream bar. I can't have them every day because I'm on a cut, a little bit of a calorie restriction. I could make room for it, but some days it just doesn't fit with my macros, doesn't fit in my plan. However, 1 or 2 days a week, what I like to do is get either a Rice Krispie or a marshmallow dream bar. It's already planned out in my macros, if you are wondering, and I will put it in front of me kind of to distract me. And what I do is I use it as a reward. I set my timer and I say, when I get this thing, one of two things. When I get this thing done, I get to have my treat. Or when this timer goes off, I'm going to reward myself with that thing. There was a point in time in my journey where that reward was the coffee itself, where I lived basically next door to a Starbucks. And this is when I was starting my journey. And I would say that when I get to the coffee shop, I have these things to do, and I can't drink my coffee until I do them or till I start on them. So I'll go up to the register, order my coffee, blitz over to my seat and try to get the thing done in hopes that I'm able to nail it in that little small window. They call my name, I get my coffee, and that coffee's not sitting there staring at me for too long. And maybe I've already gotten that thing done. Sometimes we make such a mountain out of pebbles. Anybody else ever feel that way? That you put something off for so long, you actually do it, and it's like, wow, it wasn't that bad. Why did I carry that burden for so long? If you are like that, then you are very much so like me, and you're very human. You aren't alone. Have rewards. This could be a piece of gum, coffee, standing up, getting some steps, doing that next thing you're looking forward to in your calendar. So maybe you have things that you know you're going to get done. Like, I'm going to get this stream done, which is why I will stack other habits before it. And then what ends up happening is I got more done before noon, before 1 o'clock than I would normally do in a regular day. because I focused, sat down, got it done because I knew I had to get this done by a certain time. So that's how you reward yourself. The next way is for the people who need a little bit more enforcement, which is pain. You need to get an accountability buddy or something that will hold you accountable and make a consequence for you not getting the thing done. And this is really only possible by you being a person, a man or a woman of your own word. So if you have friends or family in your life, these are usually the people that are the best at holding you accountable because they get to have some fun with it. You have all the goals and you do all of this thing to stay productive and you try to be more focused and level up all the time and you're in the masterminds and the coaching programs and yada, yada. And now they get to have some fun with you because you said, if I don't do this thing, here's this consequence. 7 months ago, maybe a year ago now, I missed a goal that I was aiming for in my business, a client acquisition goal. I missed it. And the pre-chosen pain that I had was I had to chop my hair off, and my hair was longer than, it was past my shoulders. And I didn't want to cut my hair off. It wasn't the end of the world, but I also didn't want to do it. And so every single day I had this pain nagging at me to go and do this thing. I didn't hit the goal, and I still shaved my head. I did it publicly. I shared it. You can scroll back to my social media and you can find all that stuff. If you go on Facebook and search through, it has to be on Instagram as well. So create a pain. This can be done on a small level. Like maybe you have plans on Friday, but if you don't get this thing done, you can't go and do the plans. Let your friends know so they hold you accountable and rally behind you, or whoever you have these plans with. It might just be with your damn self, which is totally cool. You might be thinking and hearing right now, like, I have all the friends in the world in this social life. Guys, bedtime is at 8, okay? Because I eliminate distractions by doing that. I get to wake up early when the world's not up to actually be able to have some focus, to get some stuff done and to feel better about myself, okay? And Saturday is saved for watching fights. Sunday is some family time. So you guys might be getting the vibe, maybe not, that I have this amazing social life and tons of friends and all that. At this current moment in my life, that is minimized, okay? If I am going to be distracted, it better be of my own accord or something really, really good that is still distracting me from where I want to be, but it's still like a really good or fun, fruitful thing. So you have to create a pain for yourself. This might be, like you guys hear a lot, I watch MMA on Saturdays. A good way to get me motivated is I have to get this thing done before I get to watch the fights. Or I don't get to do this thing, right? Like ice cream, food. Like there's so many different things that you can install in your life, and you know them for you. The things you love doing are usually the most painful to remove. Use that as motivation, guys. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. You need a reward for getting yourself going, and you need a pain for keeping yourself going. So this is what works for me if I'm ever lacking focused to get back focused. I'm kind of weird, as you guys can hear and maybe tell. So I want to know from you, what is your one tip for when you're lacking focus that really works for you for getting back into the zone? Find me over on Instagram at whatupjeremy and send me a DM and let me know your number one tip that I should consider whenever I'm lacking focus, which happens every single day, guys. As it's a part of working from home, it's a part of this life where you're your own boss, is that it's never easier to give up or to stop on any given day or any given time because no one else is watching and no one else knows besides you. Makes it all that much more important that we have the kind of self-discipline, the kind of clarity and the wherewithal to know what to do, when to do it, how to get it done, and how to bring it to life. In the next episode of Client by Client, I'm going to be sharing with you what to do if you're posting consistently on social media, but clients still aren't signing up. So if you've been posting to your story, posting on the gram, you figured out Facebook, you're doing all of this and you're looking really cool, you're looking good, but clients still aren't signing up, I'm going to share with you a couple things to consider that might unlock that ability for clients to come your way. That way you can know what to do and what not to do to be getting clients organically from social media. Whenever you are ready, here are 3 ways I can help you grow your online business. Coaches, are you still managing your leads, your pipeline from Instagram DM, Facebook Messenger, and the email inbox? Well, you're leaving leads and money on the table. That's why I created GetBookedCRM. It helps you get leads. That's why I created GetBookedCRM. It helps you get leads and turn them into clients in half the time. To get your free copy, all you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the letters CRM. I'll share with you how to use it, help you set it up, and share with you exactly what to do to feel more empowered around leads and your client acquisition. Second, join my free group for online coaches. I've got almost 1,000 coaches all inside of a free group. It's where I share my best resources, weekly trainings, and where you get access to me and them. If you want, and I'd love to have you in. Coaches, all you have to do is drop me the word group wherever you're getting this or over on Instagram, and I'll share with you your invite or search Leverage Coach. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting some coaches together this month to implement my strategies for injecting 15K and new clients or doubling your online client roster over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But I'm very picky about who I work with. So this is only for you if you are a relationship focused coach who always puts a person ahead of the money. You've been coaching for at least 1 year or at least aren't brand new. You like to get 3 to 5 clients organically every month from social media without wasting money on paid ads. You have at least 300 friends on a social platform, on an email list, or in a group. You're willing to take bold action because you know your success depends upon it. And last, but most importantly, you can keep a secret. If that's you, I want you to grab your phone right now and find me on Instagram at WhatUpJeremy and send me the words case study. When you do that, I'll ask you some questions about you, your business, and your goals, and then I'll share with you what we have coming up, how we're already helping other students with this, and what part of the program would likely have the highest impact the soonest in your online business. Again, all you have to do is DM me the words case study to get all the details. That's it for today's episode of Client by Client. I'll see you guys back tomorrow with another one. Cheers. Hey guys, thanks for the likes and the reaction. Super appreciate you. If you made it all the way through the end, wherever you're watching this, whether it was live or in the replay, I want you to comment the word love because I got big love for you, and that will be my sign to know that you made it your way all the way through the end. And would love to come over and say hi and check on you and how you're doing. Tomorrow, we're talking about organic methods for getting clients. So if you're posting actively on social media, you're podcasting, you're posting, you're making videos, you're making reels, you're doing the story, and clients still aren't signing up, I want to share with you a couple things to consider to get you unstuck and get that money and revenue flowing back in. So come back tomorrow for that. All right, guys, I'll see you guys around. Cheers.